Hey guys, this is Heather and welcome to my kitchen. So today we're gonna actually walk through an entire recipe together. It's super easy and one of my favorite go-to salads. So we eat spinach like it's going out of style. Like literally I'll eat cupfuls every day. I put it in anything and everything I can try and put it in. So pastas and bakes and smoothies and salads and anything and everything. We always have a huge thing of spinach in our refrigerator. So I'm going to show you one of our favorite salads that we eat on. It's a great base. My philosophy for cooking most things actually is just use what you have. Look in your refrigerator, look in your pantry, see what you have, and build a recipe from there. Get creative. You'll start, as the more you cook, the more you'll learn how to actually cook off taste and not necessarily off recipe. And that comes with time, but once you learn how to do it, then you can kind of know what needs to go in a recipe and what tastes good and what doesn't taste good, what's missing. So that just all comes with time. But today, there's not really a recipe that goes along with it per se. I'll have some stuff for you on the blog, but it's just kind of whatever you have. So this is what I'm using today. You can obviously use this if you want, but also add things to it. So this is just kind of a base, but I make something different every single time I make a salad or I make a recipe. So just use what you have, see what you got in your pantry. It's the best grocery shop that you have. So we'll go from there. So today we're gonna go spinach salad with a fruit, a nut, a cheese, and a little bit of vegetables. So, but the main star of the show is the salad dressing. So honestly, most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, Justin and I have a salad, we don't go with a salad dressing. So there's so many toppings that we use that it doesn't really need one. But today we're gonna make one, and if I make them, I have two that I use. Usually I just use homemade salad dressings because it's so easy, like literally so easy. If you've never made one before, you're gonna be shocked at how easy it is and how good it is, and then you'll never go back to making a store-bought one. I know store-bought ones are easy, and if we have people over, I'll usually get out a bottle of ranch. I don't like ranch, but I know it's a safe bet for most people. But we're gonna do a maple balsamic one today. It's my go-to salad dressing for most every single one that I have. If I'm doing a kale salad, I'll usually use a lemon balsamic, or not a lemon balsamic, but a lemon dressing, and it's basically the same concept, but just with a couple different ingredients. So that's what we have going on today. I'm super excited to have you here, and let's get to it. I'll just make it fresh every night. On the weekends, if we're having people over, this is like my go-to. We need a salad, let's throw something together. And I'll literally just open my refrigerator, because we always have spinach, and see what I have. So open your fridge, see what fruit you have, see what vegetable you have, see what cheese you have. That's my go-to kind of base, and then also a nut. If you have any combination of those, then you are a safe bet. I always have at least a huge thing of spinach from Costco or a couple bags from Kroger. I just get the baby tender spinach. It's already pre-washed, because nobody's got time to wash lettuce. That's the worst job ever. And go from there. So I'll use this in smoothies. I'll put this in pasta sauces, casseroles, anything that you can sneak a vegetable into. I usually sneak some spinach into. So we eat a lot of it around here. So we're just gonna go, this salad will probably make enough for 4 to 6 people, depending. So I, again, don't have a lot of measurements. It's just gonna be a couple handfuls of spinach, or until you fill your bowl full of spinach, basically. So there's not really an exact science. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to get fancy with it. So that's about 3 big handfuls. I don't know how much a handful is. I'm thinking it's about a cup or so. I don't know. That's a good measurement, a handful. So we have 3 handfuls of spinach. Use any bowl that you have, doesn't matter. Use a plate. I've used a big platter before. It literally doesn't matter. So the first thing we're gonna do is a red onion. Now, Justin isn't a huge fan of raw red onion, because they can get a little spicy. So we're just gonna do a couple slivers to add just a little bit of crunch and a little bit of peppery spice to it. And I don't have a mandolin. That's one kitchen ingredient that I don't have, not really sure why. So if you have a mandolin, that's the perfect thing to use to slice a red onion. Today I'm just gonna use a knife and try and cut it as thinly as I can. I also have an spiralizer that is actually great for cutting a whole onion. So if we were doing a lot of it, I would use the spiralizer. You just stick it on, go it through the blade, and then you can chop it up from there. It's super easy. It's one of the best tools that I've bought for the kitchen. But today we're just gonna use a knife, so they're gonna be uneven and it's fine. It's no big deal. So we're just gonna go a couple slices. Like I said, Justin's not a huge fan. I like it. It just depends on the recipe. It adds a good crunch and kind of flavor, but it can get quickly overpowering. So if you don't like red onion or onions in general, like obviously you don't have to use this by any means. Like I said, use what you have or use what you like. That's the beauty of cooking. Not baking, but cooking. So just a couple slices, like that'll probably be good. And then I usually just give it a rough chop so it's not a whole, like, I don't know, circle of onion per se. Nothing's fancy, just 2 rough chops, and then you just sprinkle it over top. So that's the first one. So if you like red onion, include it. Sauteed onion and caramelized onion, that's delicious. You can do that as well with either a red onion or a regular onion. So just throw it in a pan with a little bit of olive oil or butter. I prefer butter, I think it has a little bit better taste. And saute it for about 20 minutes until it's like nice and caramelized. That's delicious as well. So whatever you have, again, or if you don't like onion, don't use onion, no big deal. Then the next part, strawberries. I love fruit in salad, like any kind of fruit. Blueberries, strawberries, I've done pomegranates, mandarin oranges, apples, those kind of things that kind of can hold up to the weight of a salad. That's like my biggest key. If you're gonna make a salad, throw some fruit in there, and I add a lot of it. So it's kind of my favorite part of it. I think it adds a perfect like sweetness to balance out all the veggies and everything. So whatever you have, whatever you like, but strawberries are always a go-to, and they're getting ready to come back in season, which I'm like, during the winter, I'm so sad when fruit is not in season. It's kind of the worst thing ever. So, or like berries aren't in season, I should say. Although I feel like there's not a lot of like super exciting fruits in the winter. Pomegranates, which are one of my all-time most favorite fruits in the world, but they don't last a whole long. So I think they're in season like a month, which is kind of a Debbie Downer. But berries are getting ready to come back, and we kind of live off berries, so it's crucial. So again, I'm probably adding a cup or 2, cup and a half-ish of strawberries, and I just slice them. So you can dice them, you can slice them. Again, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter. If you like a lot, add a lot, like me. If you don't, then don't. Or add whatever fruit. I really do like apples as well. Probably strawberries, blueberries, apples, and mandarin oranges are my go-to like fruits. You can add raisins, like dried fruits. Raisins and craisins are really good as well. But strawberries are probably my favorite. So we have our strawberries. Now we're gonna go next with the nuts. So you can use, today we're gonna use chopped pecans. This is just a bag of chopped pecans that I had in my pantry that I've had forever that needs to be used up. We'll probably go like a 1/4 cup or so. It gives a good crunch. It gives a good flavor. You can toast them if you want. I don't have time for that today, so we're not toasting. Be careful when you do that because they can burn really easily, and I've done that, and it really is a bummer when you burn your nuts. So you can go pecans, you can go almonds, you can go walnuts, whatever you have, pepitas, sunflower seeds, any nut, cashews, anything that you have. We usually always have a bunch of nuts in our pantry. So use whatever nut you have. And then last is cheese. I'm a huge goat cheese fan. Love it. It's one of my most favorite cheeses ever, and I think it's one of the best cheeses for a salad because it's creamy, it has a beautiful texture, and it usually complements what you have, the layers in the salad, really well. So we have a crunchy nut, we have the spiciness of the onion, the sweetness of the fruit, and then the juicy like spinach, and the creamy goat cheese is like the perfect combination. So feta is also my other go-to. So that has a really good sturdy texture, but it's salty. So it adds a perfect balance to all the different flavors as well. So feta or goat cheese are my favorite cheeses to add in my salads. Use whatever you have. Again, Parmesan, cheddar, mozzarella, anything. But we usually, Justin, if he could turn into one food that he ate, it would be cheese. He would definitely turn into a cheese. So we always have a ton of cheese, and I just use whatever you have. So we're gonna use goat cheese. This is about 5 ounces. I get the big thing from Costco. The big like goat cheese thing from Costco. It comes in 2 logs, and I just freeze one and then use one until that's gone, and then pull the other one out of the freezer. Trader Joe's also is my other favorite place to get goat cheese from. They have a delicious blueberry vanilla goat cheese. That's like my all-time most favorite ever in the entire world. So either one of those I'll usually use. So you can go like 4 to 5 ounces, whatever you want. We're gonna use that whole thing because why the heck not? So that is it. That's the base of any salad I make. So 1 fruit, 1 veggie, or I guess 2 veggies, 1 nut, and a cheese. And that is the perfect base. You don't need anything else. Usually another thing I'll usually add if I have time to make it ahead of time is roasted chickpeas. So that recipe is on the blog as well, and it's like my go-to salad topper. It's delicious. It replaces the croutons. It has a wonderful crunch. It's so good. So I'll usually add that as well, but today I didn't have time or chickpeas at all to make them. So that is my next recommendation, is roasted chickpeas. So go on the blog, find that recipe. It's easy. You can make a ton of them, make 2 cans at a time, and just have it in the refrigerator to eat on and use for salads. So now we're gonna make the salad dressing. Okay, for this salad dressing, I had the full recipe on the blog so you can have the exact measurements, because this one does have an exact measurement, but again, you don't need to. I like to make it in a mason jar because it's easy to like mix together. We'll shake it together with the lid on it, and then you just keep it in the refrigerator, pour it when you need. Like I'm all about the less dirty dishes, the better, obviously. Nobody's got 9 million dishes every day. So 1 dish, 1 container, it's good to go. I actually got this recipe from Shauna Nyquist's book, Bread and Wine. It is like one of my most favorite books of all time. If you have not read it, you have to go get it like ASAP. So it is probably one of the books I'll recommend to anyone. It speaks to my soul. It is like me on every level. It is all about Jesus and cooking and hospitality and having people in your home and what food means and the memories around it. It is so good. It is one of the best reads ever. So she has recipes scattered throughout the whole book. And this dressing, maple balsamic vinaigrette dressing, was in that book, and I have never not found anything that is as good as this recipe since. So that is actually on the recipe card on the blog, so you can go and see the exact measurements. But again, I'm going to show you how you just eyeball it and taste it. So any salad dressing that you make starts with a good oil base. So I always use a good quality olive oil, or whatever olive oil you want, doesn't matter. Use what you have. And then you have an acidic part to it. You have some spices and then a vinegar. So that, an acidic, an oil, a vinegar, and then salt and pepper, or whatever fresh herbs you want. And that, you can make any combination you want in the entire world. So we're gonna go with about 1/2 cup of olive oil. I'm eyeballing it, but you can taste it as you go. So about 1/2 cup of olive oil as your base. That's probably good enough. And then we're gonna go about 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Use any mustard you have, it doesn't matter. I love Dijon mustard. Justin likes regular mustard. We usually have spicy mustard as well, so use any mustard, it doesn't matter. About 1 tablespoon, or a good squeeze. Then maple syrup, same thing, about 1 tablespoon or so maple syrup. Use the real stuff, don't use pancake syrup, that's disgusting, never use that. Maple syrup you can get anywhere. This is from Kroger. Trader Joe's has a really good one, Costco has a really good one. Obviously shop at the same places all the time. And then we're gonna go balsamic vinegar. So any balsamic vinegar from anywhere, a couple shakes, as we make a mess and splash. All right, and then we're gonna a little bit of salt and pepper. So if you have when I have fresh herbs from the garden during the summer, I might cut some of those up. Anything basil, whatever, rosemary, I've added that. I've been on a huge rosemary kick this week. Not this week, this winter. So a little bit of salt, probably 1/2 teaspoon or so, and then a little bit of pepper, probably the same-ish, don't really know. And then we're gonna put the lid on and literally just shake it, and that combines it. So shake it until it's all combined, the oil's not separated or anything. And then you just taste it and kind of go from add or subtract. You can't really subtract, add whatever you want from there. So always taste to kind of see where it is. As you cook, you kind of get to know what flavors are missing, what you like, what you need. This one, you want a good balance of sweet and then the vinegar and mustardy taste, so a tangy taste. You don't want too much of one or too much of the other. That's actually pretty good, actually. I think that has enough of both. I'm actually surprising. maybe a smidge more maple syrup. So you want a well-rounded taste. So you want to taste both the sweet, excuse me, and the mustard and the vinegar, and then the salt and pepper just kind of are always a good, you can't make anything without salt and pepper. So maybe just like a teeny little, like literally that much. This will last for a really long time in the refrigerator. So a couple weeks, doesn't matter. It might get a little bit, it won't ever get solid by any means. So sometimes I'll just pop it in the microwave for a couple seconds and it heats it up, and then I shake it up and serve it so it can be warm, which is really good as well. But that's it. So just save it, put it in the refrigerator like this. I like to let people add whatever dressing they want. Some people like a lot, some people don't like any, like me sometimes. So just kind of leave this out for your guests to serve themselves as they need. But this makes a ton. Like, you don't need a ton of this dressing. Like maybe a tablespoon, maybe, if not less, a teaspoon or so. So a little goes a long way with this. It adds a ton of flavor. So don't douse it, because you might need to add more salad if you do that. So I just leave this out just like so for either Justin and I, or when we have guests over, and kind of let the people do it themselves. So we'll either serve it like this. This is perfect as is with the dressing. It's a great side. It's a great lunch. I eat this for lunch a lot. Or you can make it a big whole meal and add some protein on top and add more stuff into the salad. Like I said, the chickpeas, or sometimes we've added roasted red peppers, some carrots, some cucumbers, literally whatever you have, just add it, whatever you love. And then a lot of times we'll add some either grilled chicken or leftover chicken that we have in the refrigerator, or salmon. That's like my favorite. I've been on a huge salmon kick and craving that all the time recently. So salmon, grilled salmon or baked salmon on top is beautiful, and you have a complete meal that's lovely. I've got dressing all over my hands. So whatever you have, just use that. It's really easy. Like I said, there's not really a big recipe that goes along with this, but just get creative. Use what you like, use what vegetables and fruits that you like, and go from there. It's a great base. It's a great go-to if you need more greens and more veggies in your life. So for the full written out recipe, go to feelingasouthernsoul.com. The dressing recipe will be there. This recipe will be there. I have another kale salad recipe on there that we love to eat as well. That's a little bit different, but just as good. So again, so fun having you here today. Loved you being a part of the recipe process. Super easy. You'll love it. Just get into the kitchen, start cooking, start tasting, start creating with whatever you have. You'll love it. Serve it to people. You'll have great memories with friends and family. That's one of the best things about cooking and meals that I love. So hope you all have a wonderful day, and I can't wait till next time. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.